Welcome to Royal Daily Report, your source for the latest royal news and updates. Don't forget to subscribe to stay informed. The description she does of the Portland hospital, the birth that was completely made up. We all know the first about it. Well, to be rude to the Queen. What was spiteful was that she married into the royal family not so long ago. The smiley person who played with children and Bolt, and the whole thing into this vengeful person, full of vengeance. Prince Harry is reportedly in complete meltdown mode, and honestly, who can blame him? Tom Bower just dropped the most devastating bombshell yet about the Sussex children, and it's sending shockwaves through every corner of the royal world. We're talking about explosive allegations that could completely destroy Harry's reputation, rip apart Meghan's carefully crafted image, and potentially remove Archie and Lilibet from the royal line of succession forever. Lady Colin Campbell went on live television and made a statement so shocking that Harry's legal team was reportedly firing off threats before the interview even ended. Just can't quite see his face. Then just 3 days off. Notice how, when they are the claims that the biggest royal secret of all has been hiding in plain sight, and it involves questions about biological parentage, surrogacy cover-ups, and deception on a scale that would make even the most experienced royal scandals look like playground gossip. Harry's not just panicking about his reputation anymore. He's staring down accusations that cut straight to the heart of his identity as a father. And the silence from Montecito is only making everything worse. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry photographed on a sushi date in California. Last week, they celebrated their son Archie. Because when you're dealing with questions about bloodlines and royal succession, silence doesn't calm the storm, it feeds it. But before we dive into this explosive story, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because this royal drama is far from over, and you won't want to miss a single update as this scandal continues to unfold. So what exactly did Tom Bower reveal that has Harry in such a state of panic? According to multiple sources, the internet's going wild after those pregnancy photos, and honestly, the evidence is pretty damn convincing. Did Meghan Markle just confirm? Bower's latest claims suggest that the carefully guarded mystery surrounding Archie and Lilibet's births might not be what the world was led to believe. We're talking about whispers of surrogacy arrangements, deliberate secrecy, and even more shocking suggestions about the children's actual biological origins. But here's where it gets absolutely brutal for Harry. Bower isn't just questioning whether Meghan carried the children herself. He's reportedly suggesting that the entire narrative the Sussexes have built around their family might be one massive deception. Now, to make things worse, she insists she was promised two things: privacy and compensation. Then Lady Colin Campbell stepped into the arena with a statement that sent the royal world into complete chaos. During a live television appearance, she calmly looked into the camera and said something that no one expected to hear on mainstream media. Archie and Lilibet are Harry's, but they were not born of Meghan Markle. Not posed as speculation, not presented as rumor, a direct confident assertion from someone known for her connections within royal circles. Not be real. The reason I didn't think it was AI is because it looks like the stomach is fake. Where the baby, I swear the silence that followed wasn't just dramatic. It was absolutely devastating. Harry's reaction swift, defensive, and honestly pretty telling. Legal threats were reportedly flying before Lady Colin Campbell even finished her statement. His team slammed the comments as disgusting and invasive. But that lightning-fast response only raised more questions. Because if there's nothing to hide, why the immediate panic? Why the aggressive legal posturing instead of simply providing proof? And that's when the real firestorm began. A quiet voice is suddenly speaking, and it isn't just a rumor anymore. For years, the world believed Archie and Lilibet. Social media exploded, hashtags started trending, and suddenly everyone was asking the same uncomfortable question. If these allegations are completely baseless, why won't Harry and Meghan just prove it once and for all? Because the public isn't whispering anymore. They're demanding answers, and they're demanding them loudly. Don't forget to subscribe to Royal Daily Report for more royal updates. But what makes this scandal feel different from every other Sussex controversy is the stakes involved. This isn't about hurt feelings or family feuds anymore. That's not just technically wrong. It might actually void the certificate's legal strength. Here's why that matters. In the US, this isn't about hurt feelings or family feuds anymore. This is about the royal line of succession. And that's where the evidence gets really uncomfortable for Harry and Meghan. Let's talk about Archie's birth announcement, because the timeline alone raises eyebrows. The palace announced that Meghan was in labor a full 7 hours after Archie had already been delivered. 7 hours. In what world does that make sense if everything was straightforward? Then there's the location drama, and Harry has got a 2-stroke 3 small cottage in that complex, and literally, on the other side of Archie, was supposedly born at Portland Hospital in London, which is 20 miles away from the cottage where Harry and Meghan were living. But here's the kicker. In Harry's own memoir, he wrote that they were back home at Frogmore within 2 hours of their son being born. 2 hours. Anyone who knows anything about childbirth knows that's not how recovery works. Women don't deliver babies and then hop in a car to drive 20 miles home within 2 hours. Summer of 1994. Meghan Markle has just graduated from Immaculate Heart High School, while her class, unless something very different happened. The pregnancy photos tell their own story too. Critics have been pointing to Meghan's oddly staged bump moments for years. The perfectly positioned hands, the way the bumps seemed to shift and change in ways that didn't quite add up. Social media investigators have been dissecting every public appearance, looking for inconsistencies, and they found plenty. There are entire threads dedicated to analyzing what they call moon bump evidence, suggesting Meghan was wearing a prosthetic belly during public appearances. She was also furious about the whole surrogacy business and all of the speculation. But perhaps most telling of all is what didn't happen. When William and Kate's children were born, their faces were splashed across newspapers within hours. The world saw them immediately with Archie and Lilibet. Harry and Meghan waited days before releasing any photos. And even then, the images were carefully controlled, professionally shot, and revealed almost nothing for a couple that had been so vocal about wanting privacy. You ever wonder why some stories just won't die down, no matter how hard people try to bury them? This one right here. They sure seem to have a lot of specific demands about how their children's births were announced. The inconsistencies keep piling up, and each one makes Harry look either completely clueless or deeply complicit. Each inconsistency makes Harry look either completely clueless or deeply involved. And that's where this gets constitutionally devastating. There's an obscure but crucial British law that states royal heirs must be born of the body to inherit titles and remain in the line of succession. It's not just tradition. An expert has revealed the circumstances under which Prince Harry and Meghan would consider returning to royal duties, according to its actual legal requirement. And if Tom Bower's allegations prove true, Archie and Lilibet could be removed from the royal line entirely. Think about what that means. These children are currently 6th and 7th in line to the throne. But if they were born via surrogate, if there were third-party donors involved, if the biological parentage isn't what it appears to be, then their entire claim to royal succession gets wiped out. We're not talking about a small scandal here. It's one thing to fumble a product launch happens to the best of them. But what Meghan Markle just did with her so-called, we're talking about a constitutional crisis that could reshape the monarchy. The palace knows this too. That's probably why it took them months to officially add Archie and Lilibet to the line of succession on the royal website. Months. When other royal births get updated within days, Harry's children took an unusually long time to receive official recognition. Insiders suggest the palace was conducting their own quiet investigations, trying to verify the claims before making anything official. She says she gave birth to Meghan Markle's children, and now she is proof. In a jaw-dropping revelation that could rewrite royal lady Colin Campbell has been particularly vocal about this constitutional nightmare. She's demanding what she calls absolute proof that Meghan bore those children before they should remain in the line of succession. Her argument is simple but devastating. If there's any doubt about their biological origins, if surrogacy was involved, if the parentage isn't clear, then these children have no legitimate claim to royal titles or succession rights. And here's the terrifying prospect for Harry. Meghan Markle horrified as truth about using surrogacy finally exposed by secret source in the realm of royal. If this scandal continues to grow, if more evidence emerges, if public pressure becomes too intense, the palace might have no choice but to act. Imagine the humiliation of having your children stripped of their royal status, removed from the line of succession, their entire royal identity erased because questions about their birth couldn't be answered. The humiliation is apparently eating Harry alive from the inside. Reports coming out of Montecito paint a picture of a man completely unraveling under pressure. Did you notice Meghan Markle openly complained about royal rules on Bloomberg like a brat? In a recent interview, she spread her sources describe him pacing the halls of their mansion, ranting about media coverage, lashing out at staff who dare to mention anything related to the children's birth controversy. The man once celebrated as the soldier prince. Diana's legacy, the rebel who walked to his own beat, has been reduced to a paranoid figure desperately trying to control a narrative that's spinning wildly out of his grasp. What's driving this breakdown? Pure terror. Harry is reportedly obsessing over every piece of media coverage about his children, spending hours tracking what's being said online. Here's the thing nobody wants to say out loud. Something about Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's children just doesn't add up. And no, monitoring social media threads, watching his family's reputation crumble in real time. For someone who built his post-royal identity around mental health advocacy, the irony is brutal. And the therapy prince can't handle his own psychological crisis. Insiders say Harry's biggest fear isn't just about his own reputation anymore. He's terrified that even more damaging details will leak. Think about what that suggests. If Harry's this panicked about what might come out, what exactly is he trying to hide? The level of anxiety being described suggests there are secrets much darker than anything that's been revealed so far. Meanwhile, his relationship with reality seems to be deteriorating. Staff members reportedly describe Harry as increasingly disconnected, jumping at phone calls, suspicious of everyone around him, convinced that enemies are plotting his downfall. The man who once stood on global stages preaching about mental wellness is apparently falling apart emotionally while the world watches. Is there an inherent tension in trying to be relatable while also being? But perhaps most devastating of all is how weak Harry looks compared to his wife's response. While he's having what sounds like a complete emotional breakdown, Meghan's approach couldn't be more different. While Harry spirals emotionally, Meghan's playing an entirely different game. And honestly, it makes Harry look even more pathetic. Instead of unraveling like her husband, she's gone into full damage control mode with the cold precision of someone who's been preparing for this moment. Legal letters are flying out to media outlets, threatening lawsuits against anyone who dares repeat the surrogacy allegations. But the second they started landing major media deals, showing off personal milestones and leaning into the spotlight they once ran from, it's calculated, strategic, and absolutely ruthless. But here's where Meghan might be making a massive mistake. By threatening lawsuits, she's potentially walking into a legal trap that could expose everything. Because lawsuits mean discovery, depositions, evidence presented in open court. If this goes to trial, all those carefully guarded secrets could be forced into the public domain. Medical records, timelines, witness testimony, everything Harry's apparently terrified about could become part of the legal record. NBC I've heard on another channel that Meghan also tried a different approach with her June 2025 Instagram post, clearly designed to counter the surrogacy rumors. She posted a video of herself dancing with Harry in what appeared to be a hospital room, sporting a prominent baby bump. But even this attempt at damage control backfired spectacularly. Critics immediately started analyzing the footage, claiming the bump looked artificial, questioning the timing, suggesting it was all staged specifically to deflect from the allegations. Buckingham Palace may be made of stone, but the rumor swirling around it volcanic. The latest twist in the ever, the contrast between the couple's responses tells its own story. Harry, emotional, panicked, falling apart mentally, while Meghan remains ice-cold, manipulative, pulling strings behind the scenes. It paints a picture of a marriage where Harry's the weak, clueless partner being managed by a wife who's always 3 steps ahead. Critics are asking whether Harry was ever really in control of his own narrative, or whether he's just been Meghan's puppet from the beginning. The dynamic makes Harry look even more pathetic. I don't think anyone in the world knows that Meghan Markle has eaten Jack in the Box and loves it. Funny too that you keep saying Meghan Markle, a man who can't handle pressure while his wife orchestrates legal warfare. A father who's supposedly fighting for his children's reputation while appearing completely out of his depth. And through it all, one question keeps nagging at observers. Through it all, one question keeps nagging at observers. Why has the royal family maintained such unusual distance from Archie and Lilibet? Think about it logically. We've all seen George, Charlotte, and Louis regularly appearing with their grandparents, great-grandparents, and other senior royals. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, fresh off their prestigious title of the biggest losers of 2023, are now gearing up. They're integrated into family events, photographed at official occasions, clearly embraced as part of the royal fold. But Archie and Lilibet, they've been kept at arm's length since birth, even before the California move, even during the brief period when Harry and Meghan were still working royals. These children were notably absent from family gatherings. Critics argue this isn't coincidence. It looks like strategy, and not the kind of strategy that suggests everything is normal. The palace's silence on the birth allegations is equally telling. You know, Meghan, how are you? And are you okay? That's so kind. I am. I'm better than okay. When false rumors circulate about other royal family members, official denials usually follow quickly. Statements get released, records get clarified, misinformation gets corrected. But on this topic, complete radio silence. Not a single official comment, no clarification, no attempt to shut down the speculation. That silence feels deliberate, like the palace knows something the public doesn't. Royal commentators suggest the family might already harbor their own doubts about these children's legitimacy. Have you discussed it with your father, Thomas? Yeah, he said the same. He said the same thing, I don't. By maintaining distance, by avoiding official endorsements, by staying conspicuously quiet during birth controversies, they're protecting themselves from potential fallout. If the whispers eventually prove true, if questions about parentage become impossible to ignore, the senior royals can claim they were never fully informed, never gave official blessing, never endorsed the children's place in the succession. This calculated distance isn't just hurting Harry emotionally. One thing I do with my kids, I will say, it takes a little bit more time. I like the presentation. That's the next level. Okay, Archie will. It's isolating him from his own family, while questions about his children intensify. And speaking of intensifying, the pressure on Harry is about to get much worse. The pressure on Harry is building from multiple directions, and it's not just royal commentators anymore. Even Meghan's own family is turning against her on this issue. Thomas Markle, Meghan's estranged father, has reportedly expressed serious doubts about whether his daughter actually gave birth to either child. He's demanding proof, asking questions that, and it made me realize, I don't care anymore what anybody got to say. I'm going to do me. Cut straight to the heart of the controversy. Samantha Markle, Meghan's half-sister, has been even more direct. She's publicly stated that if Harry and Meghan use surrogates for their children, they should admit it rather than continuing the deception. But she's gone further than that. Samantha has suggested that there might be questions, not just about how the children were born, but about who their biological father actually is. If that allegation has any truth to it, Harry isn't just facing questions about surrogacy. Can't beat the real story. I mean, that's the excitement of writing these sort of books, that in the end, nothing beats the truth. The real facts. He's facing the nightmare scenario of potentially raising children who aren't biologically his. Lady Colin Campbell continues to demand what she calls absolute proof that Meghan carried and delivered both children. She's not backing down despite legal threats, suggesting she has sources and information that she hasn't fully revealed yet. Her confidence in making these statements on live television indicates she's prepared for the legal battle that might follow. But perhaps most devastating are the whispers about third-party involvement in the children's conception. Her only serious accomplishment was being on Suits, which was a relatively popular television show. Sources close to the royal commentary world are suggesting that outside donors might have been involved, that the biological parentage might be even more complicated than simple surrogacy arrangements. If true, this wouldn't just affect the children's place in the line of succession. It would completely destroy the Sussex fairy tale narrative and raise questions about whether Harry has any biological connection to the children he's raising. The accumulation of allegations, family accusations, something that is being treated as truly shocking, truly game-changing, that kind of thing. And I think the reason for that, and unanswered questions, is creating a perfect storm that Harry can't control. Harry can't control this perfect storm, and that's what makes his current situation so catastrophic. Every day that passes without clear answers only deepens the suspicion. Every legal threat only makes him look more desperate. Every attempt at damage control only highlights how much they seem to be hiding. The Sussex brand, once strong enough to survive Oprah interviews and Netflix controversies, is now facing something much more destructive. Hollywood underdog who made it to royalty through hard work and grace. But Bauer's story paints something very different. According to him, this isn't about public relations anymore. It's about bloodlines, legitimacy, and the very foundation of royal succession. These aren't questions that fade with time or get resolved through better spin. They linger, they fester, they grow stronger with silence. And that's exactly what's happening to Harry right now. The calls for DNA testing aren't going away. If anything, they're getting louder. Social media campaigns, opinion pieces, talk show discussions. Everyone's circling the same demand, and they're really looking for a cause. They're looking for something to do. And this division, where suddenly Harry announces he might give off. If there's nothing to hide, prove it. One simple test could silence all the critics instantly. But refusal to take that test only feeds more speculation, creates more suspicion, gives more ammunition to people questioning the children's legitimacy. Harry's trapped in an impossible situation. If he agrees to DNA testing and the results contradict the official narrative, his family is destroyed. If he refuses testing, the questions never stop. The speculation never ends. Was direct. They're not private secretaries. They're not the people that need and his children grow up under a permanent cloud of doubt about their royal status. Either way, his credibility is shot, his reputation is ruined, and his place in royal history gets permanently tainted. The legal risks are just as dangerous. If Meghan follows through on her lawsuit threats, if this controversy ends up in court, discovery laws could force all their private medical records into public view. Hospital records, doctor testimonies, timeline evidence, everything they've tried to keep secret. Birth before them, there were no cheerful photos outside the hospital, no doctors giving updates, no traceable security presence. That could become part of the legal record. It would be the ultimate backfire, turning their attempt to silence critics into the very mechanism that exposes whatever they're hiding. And through it all, Harry looks weak, controlled, manipulated by forces beyond his understanding. Harry looks weak, controlled, manipulated by forces beyond his understanding. And that might be the most damaging part of this entire scandal. The man once praised as Diana's brave son, the soldier prince who served his country with honor. I chased her victims, and the victims told a very different story than about her than the one she wanted published, has been reduced to a panicking figure, desperate to control a narrative that's completely escaped his grasp. Tom Bauer didn't just scratch the surface with his latest allegations. He ripped it wide open, exposing the most carefully guarded Sussex secret of all. The storm is only just beginning. More sources are promising additional revelations. More family members are asking uncomfortable questions. More legal experts are weighing in on the constitutional implications. And through it all, Harry and Meghan's silence only makes them look more guilty with each passing day. Despicable things with their titles. But for some reason, it's only Harry and Meghan who got Tom's attention in this way. Their titles, they make their money. Because here's the brutal truth about royal scandals. They come and go. Reputations recover. Public attention moves on. But questions about bloodlines, questions about legitimate succession, questions about whether children belong in the royal line at all, those questions last forever. They get passed down through generations. They become permanent stains on family legacy. So here's what everyone's asking now. Will Harry finally agree to end this speculation once and for all with simple DNA tests? Will he choose transparency over secrecy? Downright furious, she's said to have drawn a firm line with Charles, warning him that allowing Harry back in would be like opening the gate. Will he prove his children's legitimacy or continue hiding behind legal threats in calculated silence? Because every day he waits, every day this drags on, Harry looks less like a protective father and more like a man who's terrified of what the truth might reveal. And in the game of royal reputation, perception becomes reality faster than most people realize. The world is watching, the questions aren't going away, and Harry's running out of options to control the narrative that's defining his children's future. What do you think? Should Harry and Meghan finally submit to DNA testing to end this controversy once and for all? Or will they keep hiding behind silence while the speculation destroys their credibility? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to stay updated on this explosive royal drama as it continues to unfold, make sure you're subscribed with notifications on, because trust me, this story is far from over. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. That's all for today's Royal Daily Report. Remember to subscribe to our channel for more exclusive royal news and stories. Stay informed, stay connected.